Mm-mm-mm-mm. Well, what's this? Agricultural what? This looks interesting. Ugh, I don't feel so good. Whoa!
No, they got it all wrong. Do you not see that?
Uh, it's not that bad.
All right, we're going from a soccer ball sized head to a golf ball.
What in the Karl Marx?
Whoa, wait.
Hi. Seems like you sort of dropped in at a bad time.
Yeah, a very bad time. We have a video to make.
Well, sorry for getting transported into your video about. What's this about, anyway?
Agricultural cloning.
Agricultural cloning? Isn't that like a vegan thing?
No, it isn't. Cloning basically is the copying of one's organism's traits.
It all happens through SCNT.
Super cool nap time? Got it.
I wish. It's somatic cell nuclear transfer. It's just as both simple and complicated as biology proves everything can be.
And this is where we kind of hit a wall.
A wall?
We thought we could do a sort of history section here about agricultural cloning, but we both didn't have the time to research it. Midterms.
They hit us hard.
Oh, that's funny because I had to take a cultural cloning class for my criminology major, don't ask. So maybe I can help?
Thanks, but we don't think you'd be able to. This is pretty complex stuff.
Oh yeah? Tell us Dolly the sheep.
Dolly the sheep?
Yep, cloned in 1997. She was the first animal cloned from an adult cell. But don't let that fool you. There are plenty of others that came before and after her, from amphibians to house pets.
Oh, really? When?
Well, amphibian cloning, due to them being born as eggs with easily manipulatable parts, was a thing for decades. But after, the early 2000s saw a slew of cloned creatures. In 2000, 5 pigs were cloned by PPL Therapeutics. Cats, the animal, not the musical, were found to be able to be cloned in 2001 by Texas A&M University. That cat could even have a litter. Hooved friends like deer and horses were able to be cloned in 2003. The horse, cloned in Italy, had an original birth mother as the donator of the genetic cloning material. Miraculously, there were no birth defects. Talk about a lucky horseshoe. A North Korean dog in 2005 was able to both be cloned and father puppies. Wolves in 2005 were not neglected either. Eggs of dogs and genetic gray wolf material of the mother had 2 gray wolf pups born from dog surrogates. Considering the genetic drift, that's a big deal. Even more revolutionary cloning came from with the cloning of mice in 2008. Mice were being cloned way before this, don't get me wrong. But Japanese researchers were cloning mice that had come from frozen cells, kept in stasis for 16 years. It brought up a whole new conversation about the resurrection of deceased animals. And one of the most impressive feats of cloning was in 2009, when a group of researchers managed to clone a bucardo. What is a bucardo, you ask? It is an extinct type of goat. Unfortunately, it died minutes later after due to a lung defect. But that combined with the mice thing does raise some questions about what we can really be doing with cloning.
Like bringing back the dinosaurs?
More like bringing back a functional gene pool, too. You have to think about the benefits, not big movie titles.
And this is where you've lost me. There are agricultural cloning benefits besides scientific interest?
Of course, we wouldn't do it if it wasn't beneficial to society as well. Where are the ethics in that?
True. In what ways, though?
Glad you asked. As you know, raising of farm animals dates back to about 10,000 years ago, and they used agricultural practices such as selective breeding to modify the size and shape of the animals. However, some necessary attributes like hypoallergenic milk or low cholesterol eggs are attainable through natural breeding. By far, the greatest benefit of cloning is the preservation of the gene pool of the best attributes. Through this, we can preserve genes of healthy and disease-free animals to increase the percentage of healthy animals with better immunity. So, really, we're saving the animals' lives. We also obtain a swift production of large flocks through cloning, which gives us the availability of an economic amount of agricultural product. And what makes this most impressive is that by 2050, 10 billion people will populate, and currently, the only way to feed everyone is through animal cloning. We're looking out for the fate of the human race here. And to top it off, cloning is much more beneficial than transgenic production. Other than the large controversy that surrounds genetically modified organisms in transgenic production, the resulting embryo has a greater risk of not having a desired genetic background, meaning that they may not be able to reproduce a beneficial gene pool. Hope that clears some of the benefits up for you.
Oh, it definitely does. Thanks. Really had no idea the impact was to that degree. Now that I know the positive, what's so bad about this cloning?
Well, cloning can cause lots of pregnancy issues for both the surrogate and the embryo. There's a very low success rate. Specifically, there is found to be a high first trimester loss of 50% and a second trimester miscarriage being 80%. How insane are those values? There is also a syndrome called large offspring syndrome that is seen in many pregnancies. It is found mainly in cattle and sheep, and in this, the fetus grows too large and in the uterus, causing problems for the animal and the surrogate dam. This results in painful and difficult parturition, and in the worst of cases, could lead to the death of the surrogate. Why put another animal at risk? It is found that most clones birthed normally do become strong and healthy animals, but certain animal clones like calves and lambs tend to have more problems at birth and are more likely to die right after. For the clones that are born successful, the FDA confirmed that they are perfectly healthy and act just like conventionally bred animals. The main thing to consider here is all the pregnancy issues and low success rates. Hope that wasn't too negative for you.
Wow, that's definitely a lot to consider.
Yeah, and even on top of all that, it should come as no surprise that there is some controversy around this topic as well.
Yup, a survey went around to ask the public about their view on the topic. According to the Organic Consumers Association, 89% of the consumers want meat and milk that come from cloned animals to be labeled as so.
Apparently, 66% of adults disapprove of animal cloning for food, and the same percentage are uncomfortable with the cloning techniques used to reproduce animals.
2/3 and 2/3, that's like 4/3 of people.
Close, but no. Those were two different surveys, but still a lot of disagreement.
From a scientific perspective, the disapproval of animal cloning does not make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, well, from what you guys have told me, animal cloning seems to be our only way of survival for the future. I think it may be due to the fact that the public is not really very informed about the cloning. The word sounds ethically wrong, but once people watch this video, I'm sure their perspectives will change.
Well, that sure makes us feel good about ourselves. Thanks for your willingness to learn, and also for sharing some of the history behind this topic.
Well, the video's almost over.
So, what's gonna happen to me?
Guess we'll see.
Whoa, that was pretty cool. Let's see if I can get into an Ariana Grande video. Or human cloning, that works too.